We are looking at the career of Nye Droller Akwizi Akwa. The source material, it calls him a mining talent architect.
That's a big title.
It's a huge title. And usually when I see a title like architect applied to HR, my eyes just, they kind of glaze over. It feels like branding fluff.
I get that.
Yeah.
But in this case,
Well, looking at this stack of documents here, the credentials, the career path, the specific roles, I think the title might actually be literal.
it is a strong claim, but I think the evidence supports it. We're looking at a career that spans, what, 23 years?
23 years.
But it's the shape of that career that's so unusual. It's not a straight line up the corporate ladder. It's a bridge.
Yeah.
He's bridging the hardest of hard sciences, extractive metallurgy, with the absolute softest, messiest part of the business.
Human capital management.
Exactly.
So let's start with that foundation. Because, usually HR leaders in the sector come from one of two places, right? They're either industrial psychologists or they're labor relations experts.
Lawyer space.
Lawyers, yeah, there to handle the unions. Nye Droller is neither.
No. His baseline, the very first brick in the wall, is a BSc in mineral processing and extractive metallurgy. He didn't start in an office. He started in the plant.
And for anyone listening who isn't deep in the processing side, let's just clarify what that really means. This is not just digging dirt.
Oh, far from it. Mineral processing is. It's basically chemical engineering on a massive, massive scale.
Right.
You're talking flow sheets, reagents, recovery rates, thermodynamics. It's all about trying to liberate these microscopic particles of gold or copper from literally tons of waste rock. It's a process of constant optimization.
Every variable matters.
Every single one.
Right.
If your grind size is wrong, you lose money. If your cyanide balance is off, you lose money. Or worse, you have an environmental incident. It takes a very systematic, logical, data-driven mind.
Okay, so he spends the early part of his career optimizing these chemical processes. He understands the literal grind, but then the sources show a pivot.
The big one.
He moves into management, gets an MBA, and then fully transitions into the people side of things. I have to ask, why would a metallurgist do that?
I'd argue it's the ultimate leverage of that degree.
Yeah.
Think about that friction point we talked about, the classic disconnect between management and operations.
Right.
Usually, HR sets some new policy, maybe a training protocol or a competency framework, and the engineers on the floor just roll their eyes.
Because it's bureaucratic and doesn't fit reality.
Exactly.
Huh.
But when Nye Droller walks into that room, he's not an outsider. He looks at the workforce the same way he used to look at a process flow sheet.
He's looking for the bottlenecks.
He is. In metallurgy, if you have a bottleneck, you adjust the feed or you change the reagent. In an organization, if you have a bottleneck, maybe it's a skills gap or cultural issue or a problem with succession. He's applying that exact same engineering logic to the human element.
That's fascinating.
He's not just managing people, he's processing talent to get the highest possible yield.
Which brings us to the architecture part of his title. The sources highlight competency framework design as one of his major specializations.
Right.
Now, again, to the uninitiated, that sounds like corporate speak for, writing job descriptions. But I'm guessing there's more to it.
So much more. A competency framework is the DNA of your workforce. It defines precisely what skills are needed for every single role. Now, if an HR generalist writes one for a senior process engineer, they might list things like good communication.
Generic stuff, boilerplate.
Right. But Nye Droller can write a framework that demands specific technical proficiencies because he's done the job. He knows that a senior engineer needs to understand, say, specific flotation kinetics or comminution circuits. He can map the skills to reality.
So it's credible.
It's immediately credible. It validates the technical team and earns him instant respect from the operations managers because he speaks their language.
So he's the translator, the interface between the boardroom's strategic goals and the plant room's technical reality.
Precisely. And that kind of translation is incredibly rare.
I really want to talk about the sheer volume of credentials here because it connects to this idea of precision. The profile lists 34 professional certifications, but when you look at the list, there's a definite pattern.
It is absolutely not random. This is a perfect example of what people now call agile learning or micro-credentialing.
Right.
In an industry like mining, technology moves so fast. You've got automation, remote operations centers, new ESG standards. A degree you got 20 years ago is just the entry ticket. It doesn't keep you relevant.
Yeah.
By stacking these short courses, he's constantly patching his knowledge gaps.
It's like software updates for his brain.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And notice the heavy hitters in that list. He's not just taking online quizzes. He went for the CIPD Level 7 in Human Resource Management.
Which is the gold standard in the UK and a lot of the Commonwealth.
It is. And CIPD Level 7 is not operational HR, it's strategic. It's a master's degree level qualification. It's about organizational design, heavy-duty strategy.
And he pairs that with the American equivalent.
He does, the PHR, Professional in Human Resources.
Yeah.
So he's got the British standard and the American standard covered.
Plus the technical degree. It's a really formidable stack. But let's look at where he actually applied all this. The list of companies is a who's who of Ghanaian mining giants.
Goldfields, AngloGold Ashanti, Perseus.
And then, interestingly, Boart Longyear.
And that mix is crucial to understanding his perspective. You've got the Honors Goldfields, AngloGold, who own the asset, the long-term vision, but then you have Boart Longyear. They're a drilling services contractor.
So what's the difference in terms of talent strategy? I mean, a driller is a driller, isn't it?
Not at all. The business models are completely different. A mine owner like AngloGold is thinking in decades.
Right, the life of mine plan.
Exactly. Community relations, long-term sustainability. HR there is about stability, building a culture. A contractor like Boart Longyear lives on thin margins and short-term contracts. If they don't hit their meters drilled per day, they don't get paid.
So the HR pressure there is much more about immediate speed and efficiency.
It's all about rapid mobilization, high performance, and extreme flexibility. If the contract ends, that team might demobilize. Having worked on both sides of that fence means he understands the tension between the client and the contractor. He's been there.
The profile also mentions specific mine sites, Iduapriem and Obuasi. I want to drill down on this, no pun intended. To an outsider, a mine is just a hole in the ground. But these are two very different beasts.
Oh, they're night and day. Iduapriem is an open pit operation. It's all about massive earth moving. The risks are heavy vehicle interactions, slope stability, dust, weather. The culture is, well, it's more spread out, literally and metaphorically.
And Obuasi.
Obuasi is legendary. It's one of the world's great ore bodies, but it is deep, deep underground.
Kilometers deep.
We're talking operations happening kilometers beneath the surface. The psychological profile of an underground miner is just different. You're in confined spaces, dealing with heat, ventilation, rock stress. The reliance you have on your team is absolute.
You can't just walk away if something goes wrong.
There's nowhere to walk to. So as a talent architect, you are hiring for fundamentally different psychological traits.
Resilience, discipline.
Absolutely. Higher resilience, better discipline with safety protocols, and the ability to work in claustrophobic, high-pressure environments. You can't just take a person from an open pit, stick them 2 kilometers underground, and expect them to perform.
So his experience across both means he isn't applying a one-size-fits-all strategy?
He can't. He knows the specific cultural nuances of the underground versus the pit.
And this feeds directly into the safety aspect. The source list performance management and him being a licensed mentor and coach.
Yes.
In a tech company, performance management is a quarterly review. In mining, I'm guessing it's a bit more visceral?
Performance management in mining is a matter of life and death. If an operator is underperforming, maybe they're skipping safety checks, they're fatigued, they aren't communicating, people die. It is that simple.
Wow.
But this is where that coach aspect is so important. Old school mining management was punitive. You break a rule, you get fired.
Which just encourages people to hide mistakes. People stop reporting near misses because they're afraid of being sacked.
Exactly. It creates a culture of silence, which is the most dangerous thing you can have. By positioning himself as a mentor and coach, he's signaling a shift, a move to what we call a just culture.
Which means?
It means we're going to look at why you made the mistake. Was it a training gap, a system failure? Was it fatigue? We're going to coach you to better behavior rather than just punishing you.
That requires a huge level of trust. And again, I imagine his technical background helps build that trust.
It has to.
Yeah.
If he tells a metallurgist, you need to follow this protocol, he can explain the scientific reason why, not just the bureaucratic one. Do it because I said so. Rarely works with highly skilled technical teams.
But do it because if you don't, the pressure variance will blow the seal.
That works a lot better.
I want to move to one of the most critical strategic pieces in this profile. Succession planning and localization.
This is huge.
Especially in African mining.
It is the defining topic of the last decade. Historically, mining in Africa relied so heavily on expatriates.
Right. Flying in experts from Canada, Australia, the U.S.
And that model is dying. It's too expensive. And frankly, politically, it's becoming unacceptable. Governments want their own citizens running their mines.
But it's not just about compliance, is it? There must be a business case for it.
The business case is stronger than the compliance case. Expats are transient. They come for 2-3 years, make their money, and they leave. and they take all that institutional knowledge with them. If you want a mine to run efficiently for 30 years, you need a local workforce that stays. You need to build a bench of talent.
And that takes us right back to the architect idea. You can't just wish for a local plant manager, you have to build one.
It takes 10 to 15 years to make a good plant manager. You have to identify them when they're a graduate, rotate them through departments, send them for those short courses we talked about, maybe give them experience at another site, and mentor them the whole way. That is succession planning.
It's a long game strategy.
It is. And Nyan Droller's focus on this shows he's not just filling vacancies, he's building a pipeline that will outlast his own time there.
It's also interesting that he lists learning and development analytics and talent management analytics. We're seeing this everywhere, this sort of money ball for HR.
It was inevitable. Mining is an industry that is obsessed with data. We measure every liter of fuel, every gram of explosive, every minute of truck downtime. It makes no sense to manage your most expensive asset, your people, on gut feeling alone.
So what does that look like in practice?
It looks like predictive modeling, using data to identify who's at risk of leaving, analyzing which training courses actually lead to fewer safety incidents, measuring the ROI of a mentorship program.
So he can go into a board meeting with numbers.
He can go in and justify his budget with hard data, not just soft sentiments about employee engagement. He can say, we spent X on this training, and it improved recovery rates by Y. That's powerful.
That closes the loop right back to his metallurgy roots. He's treating the workforce like an optimized system.
He is, and he's doing it from a 360-degree perspective. We touched on the mine owners and the contractors, but we shouldn't forget the third pillar in his profile.
The Imperial College of Mines and Safety.
The academic side, right. So he has seen the industry from the perspective of the employer, the contractor, and the educator. He knows what the universities are producing versus what the industry actually needs.
That feedback loop must be incredibly valuable.
It is. He can tell the educators, look, stop teaching this theory. We need more practical skills in X or Y.
It's a really comprehensive profile. It completely challenges that stereotype of the HR guy who just plans the Christmas party.
That stereotype is dangerous in high-risk industries. In mining, HR is a core strategic partner. If you get the people part wrong, you don't just lose money. You lose your license to operate. You face strikes, community unrest, safety disasters. The profile of Ndroller Okwezie-Akwa really represents the modern standard. The specialized generalist, someone who has that deep vertical expertise in the core business, in his case metallurgy, but has widened their scope to manage the horizontal strategy, which is talent.
The specialized generalist, I like that. So if we step back and think about the so what here, why does this profile matter to someone listening who might not be in mining at all?
Well, I think it matters because it demonstrates the future of career progression. We're moving away from the idea that you just stay in your lane forever.
I'm an engineer, so I only do engineering.
Right. No. The highest value now comes when you cross-pollinate, when you take the rigor of engineering and apply it to people, or you take the empathy of HR and apply it to product design. It's about synthesis.
And intentionality.
Exactly. We called him an architect at the start. An architect doesn't just throw bricks together. They have a blueprint. They understand the load-bearing walls. Ndroller didn't just stumble into these roles. Those 34 certifications, the specific moves from processing to management to HR, that is a designed career.
And that leads to a question I want to leave our listeners with. We've just analyzed how Ndroller designs a workforce, but I want you to turn that lens on yourself.
Look at your own career. Are you just laying bricks? You know, doing the job in front of you, getting the paycheck? Or are you acting as an architect?
Are you identifying the structural weaknesses in your own skill set?
Are you acquiring the specific building blocks, those micro-credentials that you need to support the next level? Are you building something that has real structural integrity, or are you just drifting?
Ndroller's profile proves that if you want to get to the top of your field, you have to design the structure that gets you there.
You have to draw the blueprint yourself.
A powerful thought to end on. Ndroller Okwezie-Akwa, the mining talent architect. A fascinating case study in how to bridge the technical and the human. Thank you for diving deep with us today.
Always a pleasure.
And to our listeners, keep building. We'll see you next time.